Oh, hello, my fellow Animal Crossing nerds, or potentially soon to be Animal Crossing nerds. Welcome to the cult. In today's video, I am going to be giving you the bad, the Animal Crossing walkthrough no one asked for.
It's me!
Animal Crossing it really isn't a game that you win. It's doesn't really have an ending. It just kind of exists. But at the beginning there are definitely, I would say, some clear goals that you could choose to follow. And today I want to cover, I'm gonna say all, but I don't take that literally. We're gonna cover all of the game triggers, goals, how to unlock, who, what, where, and a couple tips along the way. So we're just gonna shut me up and start.
Finally!
Alright, when you begin on your brand new island, after some chit chat and heavy breathing on your end, you are given your first goal: to place your tents. So this means placing your tent along with the other two villagers that you arrive with. Deciding where you want to place these tents is something, I don't know, maybe I'm a simpleton, but I suggest just not overthinking it. Like, these are all things that you can move in the future, unlike your resident services and your river exits. So if you're just now realizing this, maybe it's time to abort. But yeah, like, it's early, so unless you have your whole island planned out, I don't stress yourself out, okay? At this point, since the game is in real time, you could certainly just follow your heart, explore, realize that if you hold down the B button, you can run, you know, things. But if you're trying to be productive, as Orville will
Mistakes were made, but not by me.
eventually say to you, I suggest catching some bees and chopping some trees. Well, you can't actually chop trees, but you can catch fish, so I recommend doing this because this will lead you to your next goal, which is getting the museum. So this does not necessarily have to be done right away, but like, we need a sense of order here, so I'm gonna call this your next goal. So to unlock the museum, you are going to need to donate 5 creatures to Nook, as this will get you the starter museum. This can really easily be done by just like wandering around, although some bugs may really just be here to sabotage you. But note that these do have to be unique types, and if you have a long day to kill, the Animal Crossing was your only plan, you may find that you have a lot more creatures than you do backpack space. So for this, I recommend just placing all the new creatures, also known as the ones that you get a yes in front of when you catch, in an area that you can easily just grab from when it becomes time to donate. But once you've donated your initial 5 and the starter museum has been placed, Blathers will also give you a vaulting pole, which is pretty cute to get right off the bat. You can do this on basically like your second day so that you can explore other parts of your island. Something to keep in mind though is when you place your initial museum, like this little tent thing here, you cannot move this again until you upgrade it. Yeah, I was gonna do a cute little like archaeology dig site with a small museum, and I placed it too close to my beach, and yeah, that dream died. But moving on, we're gonna go ahead and consider your next goal to be upgrading your house. So upon arrival, Nook has automatically made you sign a secret blood contract without your knowledge. So to pay off your initial loan, you will need to work off 5,000 Nook miles, or like a sum of money that I didn't really pay attention to because I think the Nook miles is easier, but if you are here to crush these miles, get this done in a day, I would say some very easy ways to get your Nook miles fast is to just talk to all of your villagers that you have on your island, sell 20 fruit, write on your bulletin board, just take a picture, edit your passport, and sell some weeds. This will get you pretty decently far in, and then just like catching bugs, etc. will get you the rest of the way. But however you get here, after you have paid off your first loan, Nook will give you an axe, a shovel, and a watering can recipes. Now, this will upgrade your tent to a full-fledged 4-walled home. This is required to do basically everything in the game, so unless someone is bringing you goods or you have like a second switch to like tote some items over, it's a little rough. All right, next, let's talk about upgrading the museum. This is something, again, I thought I was gonna make a cute little build around. So I put this off for a while, but if you are like really trying to haul through this game because you just restarted for whatever reason, or I don't know, you're just impatient, I'd consider upgrading the museum to be the next best step. So, Ol Blathers will now be on your island, and he'll ask you for an additional 15 bugs, fish, or identified fossils so that he can gain a permit to build a museum. Once this is all done, construction of the museum will commence, which will take about 1 day, and by about, I mean fully a day. I don't know why I said that.
Liar!
And then it will become fully available. And by fully, I do mean like 60%. But we'll circle back to this. All right, moving on. So another building you can unlock is Nooks Cranny. To build the first little baby starter shop, you will need 30 softwood, 30 hardwood, 30 wood, and 30 iron nuggets. To trigger this, anytime after both day 2 and also paying off your Nook miles, you will just need to go ahead and walk into your current resident services and speak to Timmy, and he will tell you that he needs these resources to make the store. If you're on day 2 and are trying to make things happen, Nook will have conveniently just given you a Dodo Airlines ticket, which you can use to hopefully, depending on your luck, get enough resources that you can actually set up the store to be built on the second day. This will also take a day to build like everything else, but since you didn't have a store to begin with, you'll probably survive. But once the store is unlocked, upon entering the shop, you will meet Mabel. She will be chit-chatting with Timmy and Tommy and mention setting up a stand at your resident services, which leads me to my next goal of sorts, unlocking the Tailors. Now that Mabel has made her appearance, she will occasionally just show up on your island some days selling her goods. If you don't care about unlocking the Tailors anytime soon, you can just buy things at your leisure. But if you are trying to get this shop on this island stat, you will need to spend at least 5,000 bells at this pop-up. Keep in mind this can be divided over the course of her first 2 trips though, so you don't have to buy anything ugly. But once you've spent the money, Mabel will tell you she has plans to open up a store with her sister as soon as her 3rd visit. Again, this will take another day to open, we know this. But once it's open, you'll be able to purchase an array of clothing and accessories and access the custom design portal. And it's also worth noting that you should make sure to talk to Sable each day, because after enough time of bothering her, she will warm up to you and unlock some patterns. But we are getting a little ahead of ourselves, so let's go ahead and back it up to, wow, you built yourself a store! And since you are now officially at Commerce Island, Nook will tell you there are people who want to move, so you should expand the land. Nook will give you a recipe for a wooden bridge, which requires wood, and you can place this anywhere your heart desires as long as the land matches up. This is a good time to think about functionality and where you would like to open up some space, so just like put it down. I promise you can move it later unless you want it to be like an honorary part of your island's history, in which case, choose wisely. Alright, once the bridge has been placed, Nook will give you 3 housing kits. These kits will be bigger than your initial ones as they are making homes, and will come in 4x4 squares. If you have your island mapped out, this is a good time to place these carefully. If not, I just recommend putting them either at the back or the front of your island. I personally chose the back so that when you eventually start terraforming and moving things, you have spaces to start working on and kind of get an idea of how you want things versus having everything spread out. There's not really any room to start. You're gonna have to move something. So to build the homes, each plot will require 6 pieces of furniture, 3 for the inside and 3 for the outside. All of these you will have to craft. These items come from wood, stone, clay, or iron, so as long as you have been gathering resources, you can arguably get through these pretty quickly. Especially if you keep in mind that once you've placed the second plot, you will unlock the recipe for a ladder. Ooh, which opens up your entire island so that you can make sure to get all of the resources your island has to offer, including flowers. Once you've got these ready to go, just go ahead and talk to Nook, and this will unlock fencing. Ooh, very exciting. And Tom will have new people coming in 1 by 1 over the course of the next 3 days. And as your villagers arrive, it is a good idea to say hi to them because manners, but also after the first one arrives, you will be able to customize thanks to a quick lesson from Tom. Then, once all of your villagers have arrived, Tom will announce that the resident services will be upgraded. There really isn't anything you like need to do here other than remember that the resident services building will be shut down, so get your affairs in order. But once the resident services building is up and officially running, you will meet Isabel and be able to build as many bridges and inclines as you can afford. And by as many, I mean you have a limit of 8 each, so keep that in mind. Finally, Nook will also decide more people should come to visit the island, so he will put you in charge of placing the campsite. The earliest this can be placed is the 8th day you play, but it's an easy plop, and you're done. Next, we have vacation homes. So if you have purchased the expansion pack and you have upgraded your home and you have finished the DIY workshop and recently completed resident services, the next day that you arrive on your island, you will receive a call from Tom saying there is someone he wants you to meet, and then you go through the whole thing. If you're considering restarting and are concerned about items, while, Happy Home Paradise will not help you at all with DIYs or miles, this does give you A, something to do outside of catching creatures, but B, ooh, baby, the cataloging is so nice, and it just makes your life so much easier, and you can order 5 things from there, 5 things on your islands. Oh, pristine. It's cute, like my singing. It just overall makes your life a lot easier when you are waiting for your proper shop. Which, speaking of. So you may notice at this point, things kind of start slowing down a little bit. There's less updates from Nook every time you get on, but I would consider one of your next primary goals to be upgrading the shop. This does require you to have played for 30 days since your initial shop opened. Secondly, you also need to have sold or bought at least $200,000 worth of goods. Yes, we expensive. The third requirement is having Mabel visit at least once, but since it's been 30 days, you've probably already done that and opened the Tailor by now, so you should be pretty good there. Anyways, once all of this is done, Isabel will let you know that Nooks is expanding. This will unlock more furniture, DIYs, tools, wallpapers. As things slow down, something very important to work towards is getting yourself a 3-star island. This requires a decent number of tasks, but if you are working towards these from the beginning, it's really not that bad getting there, okay? So first thing you will need is to unlock the island evaluations. This should already be done by upgrading your resident services, so we can move right along. Secondly, you will need to have at least 7 villagers on your island. So in addition to your initial 5, make sure you move in at least 2 more brothers to the island, either via the campsite, scanning an amiibo in, villager hunting, or just by buying land and keeping your fingers crossed. Third, you gotta get rid of those weeds, my dudes. This is pretty straightforward.
Chris, is that a weed?
No, this is a crayon.
I'm calling the police!
But something I did, which I think is helpful if you're a poor, is over time when you're bored, just pick all the weeds on your island, and instead of selling them just yet, be patient, my friends. I mean, get your initial little Nook miles in there, but past that, be patient and wait for the old plant boy leaf to come. This way you can sell all the weeds to him for a better profit, and you'll also rack up some Nook miles all at once. It's a good time. But back to a 3-star island. The fourth thing that you're going to need to do is put some fencing and some foliage down. We already know that you've received fencing, so just make sure that it's out and about, along with planting different kinds of flowers that you have either purchased seeds from Nooks Cranny or just stolen from Mystery Islands. Or your friends, if you have those. Make sure you water them at least once a day. The flowers, not your friends, although maybe those two if they're depressed. Plant some bushes, and this should take care of that. Next, if you can afford it, connect the land with bridges and inclines. Obviously this can get a little bit pricey and can be hard when you don't know how you want your island to look, so I just made sure I had the land connected and I just left that to be. But the big finale, big enchilada, big burrito thing that you need to do is build and place 25 different items around your island. Y'all, my island looked like a hot mess when I hit 3 stars. It does not actually need to be cute. It doesn't need to be satisfying. It does not need to be beautiful. It just needs to tell the game that you have checked the boxes and there are goods on the ground. So once you have done it, you are a 3-star island you can legally terraform. And I say legally because you still gotta buy all the things to actually be able to diggity dig or watery water, but you got there, folks. Wow. Oh, and I guess also KK Slider now shows up once a week, so there's that. Oh, but you've also got our next goal. Finding the coffee owl. So, you've got yourself a museum, but your coffee addiction is starting to itch, and the only way to unlock Brewster is to have a 3-star island. You also need to unlock the art wing of the museum and donate at least one of every kind of item. So at some point while you are building towards 3 stars, to get red to appear on your island, you will need to have donated at least 60 items to the museum. Again, these must be unique, but fossils, baby. They are your friend. Sea creatures, got 'em. Bugs, find 'em. Fish, be them. Because along with donating 60 items, you will want to make sure you have given Blathers at least 1 bug, 1 fish, a sea creature, and a piece of art. Once this is done though, Blathers wastes no time in getting you your coffee fix and will approach you about finding Brewster. This will also unlock your ability to go on special island tours. Ooh! But it does cost 1,000 miles each time. So when you're starting, this can be pricey. Gyroids, one day I will have you. But Brewster will be on the first island you go to, and once you show him how fantastic you are, he will come right on over and you can get to your coffee. And that, my friends, is what I need to do, because I think that sums up about everything I'm going to include in this video, as Mama is tired. But if there's anything you are wondering about that I may have missed, or you'd like to know more about, maybe you'd like to see a things you should know before starting Animal Crossing video, let me know. And I will continue raising these children. You're welcome. Now, there are still many things that you can do in Animal Crossing, such as completing your museum, getting all the Nook Mile badges, upgrading your home, and whatever else they decide to come up with. But hopefully this helps give you an idea of what to expect. So if you would kindly like this ding-dang video for my labor, I would appreciate it. And if you refuse, well then bye.